Hello everybody, welcome to the Studios. My name is Magnus, and in this video, I thought it would be a fun idea to basically go over some of the stuff that happened in the world of LEGO in 2025. So 2025 has been a very crazy year for LEGO because, well, there has been a lot of stuff that has happened. There have been some cool stuff that has happened, but there have also been some bad stuff that has happened. So at the end of this video, I'm basically gonna see if this year 2025 really was a bad year for LEGO fans. But was this really a bad year for LEGO? Well, let's figure it out. So the first theme that I'm gonna talk about is Star Wars. So Star Wars has been going on for a long time now, but it's still producing sets obviously. However, this year has kind of been a rough year for the team. First of all, one thing that's kind of weird is, for some reason it looked like there weren't too many sets that were being released with minifigures, which is kind of strange. You know, there were a couple of sets that had minifigures, but there were also a lot of sets from the Helmet collection as well as the Starship collection, which is kind of interesting to see. However, one thing that is cool is we actually did get some sets that were based on Episode 7, The Force Awakens, because that movie was celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. So it is cool to see that LEGO decided to make some sets based off of this movie, given that, well, LEGO hasn't really touched these movies in some time. So that is a very, very good thing. However, this year we also got the most expensive LEGO set ever, which is the Ultimate Color Series Death Star. And now, here's the thing. Apparently, a lot of people actually decided to buy this set, which was kind of surprising to me. Like, I did not expect people to actually buy this set. Like, I thought people were just gonna skip this set, but apparently some people did buy it, which is kind of interesting to see. So because of that, I don't really know if the set really failed, but I still don't think that the build is that impressive either. So I still don't know if this set really is a fail, given how much the set sold. But overall, I kind of feel like this year was kind of rough for Star Wars, honestly. The next game I'm gonna talk about is Fortnite. Now, Fortnite is a brand new theme, but the thing is, this year has been a good year for the Fortnite theme. You see, we have gotten more sets with minifigures, which is cool because the first Fortnite wave only had one set with minifigures, so it's cool that we got some more sets with minifigures this year. That was kind of needed, and well, I do hope we will get some more Fortnite sets with minifigures, because that would be very, very cool. The next theme I want to look at is Minecraft. Now, here's the thing. I actually did not think that LEGO would make sets based off of a Minecraft movie, given how much hate the first trailer got. But they actually did, which was actually kind of surprising to me. I wasn't expecting them to make sets based off of this movie. But we also got a new line of sets. We basically are getting a new type of sets where we're getting some brick built mobs, which is kind of cool to see. And this sub-theme is gonna continue next year, which is actually kind of interesting. Now, this year I actually decided to do something kind of interesting. I thought it would be a fun idea to basically watch the entire Dreams TV show, and surprisingly I actually did. Like, I have actually watched every single episode of the Dreams TV series, which is kind of cool. I don't know why I even started watching it, but I've watched the whole show now, which is actually very, very cool to see. However, this year was actually a pretty good year for Dreams. Like, the thing is, I feel like the show has gotten better over time, which is a very, very good thing. But the actual sets themselves are actually very cool. First of all, we got some sets that are kind of easy to build, you know, some 3-in-1 sets. I think that's very cool. And well, the other sets that we get from the team are definitely very, very cool. And well, the thing is, I have bought some Dream sets, and if I'm being honest, I do think that Dreams is actually a very, very cool theme. Like, it's very, very creative. I love it. And I am very happy to see that this theme is actually gonna continue next year, which is actually very, very cool to see. I'm very happy to see that this team is actually going to continue. Now, Friends has also been doing very good this year. Like, we're still getting some sets that are very, very amazing. Like, some of these sets I actually do think would fit in like a regular Lego city. Like, if you remove the needles and just put minifigures in, well then you could pretend that it's just a regular city set. You could do that if you wanted to. So yeah, I definitely do think that Friends is still doing a phenomenal job. Now, the next team we're gonna look at is Marvel Superheroes. And Marvel Superheroes has kind of had a rough year this year as well. First of all, we got a couple of like diorama sets, which aren't really that impressive to look at, honestly. Like, they kind of suck. And we also got a bunch of vehicles that personally I am not really interested in, but we did get some cool stuff as well. Like, for example, we got a set based on Spider-Man 2, which is cool to see because we have not gotten a set from that movie in a long time. So that's actually very, very cool to see. I was actually not expecting to see that. So while some cool stuff did happen with Marvel Superheroes this year, the actual team as a whole didn't really do too well this year. The next team I'm gonna talk about is Harry Potter, which has been doing kind of, I guess. Like, really, the only sets we're getting are pretty much just remakes of sets we've gotten before. Not all of the sets are remakes. We are getting some new stuff, which is cool to see. But I feel like most of the team is kind of a remake, which isn't really too great. But some of the sets that are remakes, I am happy to see because I did want some of the original versions of those sets, but unfortunately never got them. So the big benefit of remaking sets is, you get another chance to get something that you didn't get before. So that's very cool to see. Now, Queer has also been doing something cool. They've been bringing back some of Lego's older themes. We've gotten in our castle set. That was cool to see. And we got a haunted house, which I guess is based on Monster Fires, kind of. I don't really know. Maybe, yeah, I think you can say it's a Monster Fire set. So yeah, it's very cool to see that Queer is still, continuing or bringing back some of Lego's oldest themes. I do think that is very, very cool to see. Now, if I'm being honest with you guys, I was kind of mixed with Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3, and while I won't really get into why the season is a bit of a mixed bag to me, but I will say that one of the problems is how certain things were handled in the season as a whole. So yeah, that's really just the main problem with the whole season. However, the sets that we got for this season were very, very good as well. And the thing is, the new show is called Dragons Rising, and well, this year the dragons really were rising because we got a lot of dragons this year. We got small dragons, we got medium-sized dragons, we got large-scale dragons. There were a lot of dragons. And I do actually like how we have a dragon that is a villain. I definitely do think that is a very, very cool concept because we haven't gotten too many villain dragons in Ninjago, or as far as I can remember. And the funny thing is a very, very cool dragon. Like, his design is very, very cool. However, we also got a couple of mechs. Like, for example, we're still getting some mech battle packs. That's cool. We even have a mech dragon rider. That's cool to see. We also have in our combiner mech. I love that a lot. And we have a mech that can transform into a jet. That is definitely very, very cool. But we also got a couple of other sets like the Timblebound as well. That was cool as well. And yeah, overall it's been a very good year for Ninjago as well. However, we also got something called Ninjago Legends this year, which is kind of like a spin-off series, I guess. But the sets that are actually based on the Ninjago Legends are actually made for older kids and are actually made for this Lego Wear and Play. So as you guys can see, Lego is apparently making Ninjago sets that are targeted to older fans, which I actually think is very interesting to see. And they're actually doing this next year with the new Legacy sets next year. I probably should have mentioned that in the video talking about Ninjago Legacy, but I'm mentioning it now because I forgot to mention that. What's next? Icons. So Icons has been doing something kind of interesting this year because it has brought back some older licensed themes, which is interesting to see. Like, we still do have some sets that are based off of the Lord of the Rings, but this year Icons also brought back The Simpsons, which is a theme that definitely needed to come back, and it also brought back Pirates of the Caribbean. That's also very, very cool to see as well. And let's not forget that this year we got a Star Trek set that is a Icon set. So yes, it's very cool to see that Icons has brought back a couple of license schemes that needed to come back, but it's also cool to see that they have made a Star Trek set, because a lot of people have wanted LEGO to make a Star Trek set for years. So it's cool to see that LEGO has finally made it, and who knows, maybe we will get some more Star Trek sets. That will definitely be very, very cool. Now, if I'm being honest, I feel like City has actually become a bit better in recent years. Like, some of the sets he has been putting out are actually very cool. Like, first of all, we had some Soapbox race cars this year, which is actually a very cool concept. And we also got a couple of other stuff, like we got a new take on LEGO trains. Like, we are now getting themed LEGO trains. That's cool to see as well. And we're also getting some sets that are actually very, very interesting. Like, some of the newer City sets are actually very, very cool. So yeah, I definitely do think that City is actually becoming a much better LEGO theme than it was a couple of years ago. The next theme I'm gonna talk about is Jurassic World, which is still going to stay. And well, the big problem with the theme is the sets are a little too expensive, but that's kind of excusable given the giant dinosaur pieces. But what's cool is we actually got a brick-built Mosasaur this year, which is actually very cool to see. It's cool to get a brick-built dinosaur in a regular released Jurassic World wave. That's cool to see. And we got a giant T-Rex skull, which is very, very cool to see as well. Now, Super Mario actually did something cool this year, where he basically introduced Mario Karts, which I definitely think is very, very cool to see. So even though it is kind of unfortunate that we still don't have Super Mario minifigures, at least we did get something different this time around with some Mario Karts. So that was actually very, very cool to see. Now, the second to last thing that I want to talk about in this video is One Piece. So One Piece is a new anime theme, which we actually haven't gotten an anime theme in a long time. Like, it's been ages since the last anime theme. So it's kind of interesting to gain our anime theme. But now the actual theme itself is basically a Pirates theme, which we have not gotten a Pirates theme in a very, very long time. Like, sure, we have gotten some Pirates ships, but we haven't gotten like a dedicated Pirates theme in a long time. And while this theme right here is basically kind of reminiscent of Pirates anyway. So it's kind of cool to see that we actually have a theme that is basically reminiscent of Pirates on store shelves in 2025. And now let's move on to the last thing that I want to talk about in this video. You see, last year we got a couple of LEGO sets that were space branded, and we did still get some space branded sets this year. However, this year we also got a bunch of Formula 1 based LEGO sets, which is very, very cool to see. Like, this year has basically been a very big year for Formula 1, so it's cool to see that LEGO has made a bunch of sets to tie in with Formula 1. So the first Formula 1 sets that we got were City sets. And now these City sets are very reminiscent of some of the original Speed Champion sets, where basically they actually had play sets, which is something that Speed Champions doesn't do anymore, probably due to the fact that the vehicles are a lot bigger now. So it is very cool to see that City has actually made a couple of sets that are very reminiscent of older Speed Champion sets. That's actually very, very cool to see. The next sets we got were actually Speed Champion sets. And now basically what they did here is they put out 10 Formula 1 cars, one for each team. And well, it is gonna be kind of expensive if you're buying all of these cars. And now the thing is, all of these cars are basically the same, with the exception of the brand and the color scheme, of course. But if you don't have a lot of money, well then it's probably best that you just buy your favorite cars, because it's a little bit better to do that in my opinion. However, we also got a Formula 1 collectible series, which is basically a collectible minifigure series for Formula 1 cars. And well, some people don't really like these, but I actually do think that these Formula 1 cars are very cool. However, we also got the Icons Formula 1 car, as well as some Technic 1/8 scale cars, which is also very cool to see as well. So as you guys can see, there were a lot, and I mean a lot of sets that were based on Formula 1 this year. And apparently we are gonna get some more next year, which is actually kind of cool to see. But anyways, I think that's all I had to say about LEGO in 2025. But now here's the big question. Was this really a bad year for LEGO? Well, honestly, the two teams that really kinda sucked this year were basically Star Wars and Marvel superheroes. Like, those teams haven't really been doing too well this year, which is kind of unfortunate. But all the other teams that I just mentioned as well, those were a little bit better than all of those teams. And what's interesting is that some of them were actually unlicensed teams. So as you guys can see, sometimes unlicensed teams can actually be better than licensed teams, which is actually kind of interesting to see. So overall, I don't think that 2025 was a bad year for LEGO, but if I'm being honest, I actually do think that 2024 is a bit better than this year. But the big question is, will 2026 be a better year than 2025, or maybe even 2024? Well, we'll just have to wait and see if 2026 will be a better year for LEGO. But anyways, that's it for this video. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe to the Steers on YouTube, and hit that bell notification button so that you're gonna find out when I upload a new video. So that's it for now, and I'll see you next time, and have a happy new year. Bye bye.